Hello, Keith here. Welcome to Math and Games. Today, we're playing MBT from GMT Games. We're doing scenario 2. We're using basic and advanced rules, including the bod rule, and we're on turn 13. Things are perilous for the Warsaw Pact forces. They're down to 2 vehicles, both BTR-70s, which are armored personnel carriers. Meanwhile, the Americans have 5 fully functioning M60A3 tanks and 2 M150 tow carriers. Plus, the Americans also have 2 M113s. Over here on the left, you see I gave a move command to the, and again, I do the spawning phase and the command phase before I come on air. So over the left, you see the BTR-70 and its section, the spigot section. I gave them a move command because I want them to move on the left over here in this woods. We kind of have a little brouhaha. I have in the middle of the woods one Soviet squad, RPG-22 squad, and I have an M113 that just came into the woods. Next to that M113, I have an American squad that was dropped off. Unfortunately, they're suppressed now and they're facing in the wrong direction. So they're limited in what they can see. They can't see the other enemy unit because they're suppressed. Over here at the tree line, I have a heavy machine gun. Problem is that heavy machine gun is also suppressed, so it can only see it out of the front 60-degree view of fire. So it can't see the M60A3 that's about to overrun it right next to it, which has a move command. I have one tank coming into this little fracas into the woods. They're going to go over the bridge and they're going to enter that woods area over here. And this tow gun right here, the M150 tow carrier, I'm going to have it park on this bridge because I want it to gain that victory point hex. And on the right, the other bridge that goes along with that bridge, I have an M150 coming along, the M113 to go on to the victory point hex. Because you have to remain on a victory point hex for an entire turn to claim it. So I also have 3 tanks over here coming. There's a town to the right, and I have 3 tanks coming in to fight in the town that's on the right. In this town, there are 1 Russian squad and 1 Russian half squad. There's also the BTR-70. The BTR-70 right now is facing the M113. The M113, however, is hull down. So it's going to be very tough to hit that M113. It's hull down because it's in the building, basically. So they're going to have to get a turret hit, and it's going to have to be a turret side hit because the BTR-70, the gun is very weak. It does have armor piercing ammo, but it's very weak. Meanwhile, the M113 armor pierce can fire against BTR-70, and any type of hit will penetrate the BTR-70's armor with the type of weapon that the M113 is using. Next to the BTR-70 in the town is the section, and it's facing the American suppressed unit. The American suppressed unit will not be firing at that half squad because the American suppressed unit is facing what's in front, which is a Russian squad. Unfortunately, the Russian squad right now is suppressed and it's facing in the wrong direction, so it's not going to be able to fire at the American squad. And there's also another American squad that's going to face at that hex right there. Okay, now the question is, can I pivot that unit, or do I have to wait for the move phase to pivot it? Right now it's facing is wrong. Okay, I'm going to leave it for the time being. So I'm going to roll. I roll NATO initiative first, 27. I roll Soviet initiative next, 75. So Soviets have the initiative. They're going to fire first. So my squad, and go over here to the left, my squad in the woods, they're going to fire the RPG-22 at the M113A2. So obviously it'll be point blank range. Target size is -1. Target is not moving. Target is a medium cover, -4. Is the shooter suppressed? The shooter, I do not believe, is suppressed. Let me just, yipes, I'll move those back. All right, is the shooter suppressed? I do not believe the shooter is suppressed. The shooter's not an overwatch, it's not defensive fire. So it's going to be -4. So it's going to be a 54 or less to hit. And this will be a catastrophic hit. 26, it is a hit. And I have to see the RPG 22. I have to see what effect that has. So I go leg units, crew weapon, RPG 22, I rolled a 6, so that's a knockout. So that M113 is knocked out. Okay, one moment. All right, so that vehicle is knocked out. And I believe that's already marked with, that's marked with small arms fire. I believe that's a regular fire. So you gotta make sure they're marked with the right kind of spot. There you go. Okay, so who else do the Soviets have that can fire? Over here we have the BT, okay, so that's in the woods. So you have that unit, that heavy machine gun unit who can fire. Okay, so the heavy machine gun unit, squad, they have a target. They have the M150. So let's take a look at the American track, the M150 tow carrier. Portable tow. You're flying at the front. So let's see what penetration the heavy machine gun can have. The NSV heavy machine gun. So the penetration factor is 4, or they can do heavy machine gun GP factor 3. So it's either 4 or 3. Okay, now let's look at the American M150. Turret rear. So I'll move this up so I can see the notes. So the only way it could affect would be getting a turret rear or a hull rear. Is that even possible? Let's take a look. Turret rear, so it's coming from the front, so they can't even get a turret rear or hull rear hit. So they're not going to be able to penetrate the armor with that heavy machine gun. Now the next possibility is that I attack with GP, with GP, general purpose. So in that case, it's a 1. It defends as a 1. It's basically an open top vehicle. Heavy machine gun, what range? Next question is what range is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a range of 5. Medium range, so it can attack with the firepower of 2. With the firepower of 2. Okay. So it's going to be 2 to 1. We're going to have to look for any modifiers. Let's go over here. Okay. First off, target is a P-type vehicle, so it's -10. Target is moving, -20. So far we got -20. Shooter is suppressed, -40. I don't think this is gonna. So we already got minus 40. Okay, so it's 2-1 with the minus 40 of the dice roll. So they need a 46 or 72, but the die roll is going to be minus 40. 76 becomes 36 and no effect. They tried. And I'll move them. See, that was not a smart move because now that makes them easier spot, even though the tank is about to run over them. Okay, so let's, and that's all the goings on in the woods over there. Now I'm going to move to the right into the town. So on the left, we have some woods that are being fought over. On the right side, we have a town that's being fought over. Okay, so this, I'm going to take the BTR 70 against the equivalent. It's a hull down M113A2. So it's point blank range. I'll go to the BTR 70 wheeled vehicle. So it's point blank range. Say, oh, wrong one. Okay, point blank range. I can either use armor piercing. If I use armor piercing, it would have to hit the turret side to do any damage whatsoever. I don't know if I can use the GP. Well, let's see. 5. I'd use a coax, so it'd be 5 against, what's the GP defense? It'd be 5-1. That could be effective. It would be, oh wait, that's the 150. Let's look at the 113. Yeah, it'd be 5-1, but it's armored target. So because that's an armored target, there would be, so let's look at the modifiers. Okay, so 5-1, the base number is 3463. Target is not moving, target is not P. Target is an A-type vehicle, minus 20. Target vehicles in medium cover, minus 30. So you got minus 30. So you'll have minus 30. So it'll be 5-1 minus 30. And I do not have to roll for ammo. See if I have the ammo. So I can do a 5-1 minus 30, or I can take the chance and try to get that, try to hit the side of the turret. I'm going to do the GP 5-1 minus 30. I'm going to use the coaxial machine gun. All right, so I need 3463, and I roll the dice. I get 53 minus 30 is 23, no effect. Okay, so I'll mark that with a spot fire. Let's do this right here. Okay. So who else do we have to fire? Well, using the same fire marker, we have, let's see what we got there. We got the Saxhorn RPG 22 team. So they got a Saxhorn. Fortunately, they don't have a vehicular target. So let's take a look at what that Saxhorn is. So 84 millimeter. It's basically an anti-tank guided missile. That's going to be useless. And an RPG 22. I believe that means its GP factor is 6 if it hits. And the unit is in a building. All right, well, let's take a look and see what GP effect that would have. So it'd be 6. And the defense is in a brick building. The brick building's medium cover, plus they're under full cover. So that would make them -8. No, it's +8. So there would be 8. So it would be 6 to 8. The relevant numbers are 62 and 92. Okay, let's see if we have any modifiers here. Is the shooter suppressed? Shooter's not suppressed. But the shooter's not suppressed. Move them back. Okay. Let's go down. Shooter damage, hesitate, no suppressed. Shooter broken, roof smoke, thermal smoke. I have overwatch, transport, defensive fire. Dual fire, hasty entrenchment, coax, airburst. So I don't see any modifiers. So that is going to be okay. So that's going to be 6 to 8, 62 and 92. I'm going to roll. So I need higher than a 62 to have any effect. No effect. Okay. So I have one more shot here. Actually, no, that's it. I have no more shots because that unit right there, the other Soviet unit, does not have a target. And I'm still going to mark it spot fire because they did fire at something. They just fired at air, I guess. So let's see if I can find it. And right click. There we go. Spot fire. Small arms. Okay, so I think that's it for the Soviet fire phase. Now we're going to go into the American fire phase. Okay. And see a lot of, well, to begin with, I have this M150. And the M150 is firing at target 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hexes away. It's a leg unit. So it's going to be a medium shot. It's going to have firepower effect of 2. No, it's not going to have much of an effect, but we'll see. And the target, meanwhile, is going to be 8, so it's going to be a 2 to 8. Because the target's in medium cover. And 2 to 8. And I have to get a 104 to suppress. No, yeah, 2 to 104 to affect it, actually. Now we check the modifiers. So it's basically firing with its heavy machine gun or medium machine gun. Go. So the modifiers, target's not a vehicle. Damage, sure broken, sure suppressed. Damage, broken, suppressed, thermal, barrage, safe, overwatch, ammo limit. Transported or defensive fire, no. Overwatch, no. There's a short halt though. So a short halt, what's the stabilization factor of the 150? Whoa. Stabilization factor is 0, so that's going to subtract 10. So it's going to be impossible. So I'm going to need 88 or above And it's going to be impossible to have an effect like 88 or above. And it will suppress them. And 71, so it had no effect. So that gets flipped over to its move side. Now, is that rapid fire? No, rate of fire, no. Okay. So this vehicle right here actually had a rate of fire possibility. The BTR 70 in the town had a rate of fire, which I didn't roll for. So I'm going to roll 1 through 5. It gets the fire again. And I'll read that. Well, I'll use the blue dice here. Okay, so it's going to fire again. It achieved rate of fire, and I'm just going to give it one more shot. I'll have to look up the rate of fire rules exactly. So it's, oh, the rate of fire only actually works for armor piercing. I forgot. Okay, not the GP, and it used GP. Okay. So now that's the first American fire. And I think I have 2 more. Now I have the 113 against the BTR 70. I'll go with the 113. I can either use armor piercing or I can use general purpose, the heavy machine gun. So I'm going to try the armor piercing attack. So it's going to be range 2, penetration 4. So it's going to be point blank range. Is there a target size modifier? No. Is the target moving? No. Target is in light cover, -1. And -1, I think that's it. So I'm going to need 81 or less. What did I roll? I rolled a 51. So that's going to have no effect. The 1 is basically says it bounces off the vehicle. So I got a hit. It just did not enough to knock out the vehicle. And I have to roll for them bailing out. Do they bail out? We shall see. Okay. Armor piercing, no damage crew. They need a 10 or less. Nope. Okay, so no effect. And last but not least, I have this suppressed squad. It's firing at another suppressed squad. So let's figure that one out. Let's go to leg units. Its mechanized infantry will be 7. Meanwhile, the Soviets, it's in light cover, so it's going to be 7 to 4. It is in full cover though, so it's going to be 7 to 6, and it is not moving. So it's going to be 7 to 6. 7 to 6, checking the modifiers. Shooter is suppressed, it's going to be -20. 7 to 6 with the -20 modifier to the dice roll. 49 or 80. 30, 18, no effect. A lot of small arms fire with no effect. And I have another squad. And it's going to have the 7 to 6. But it's not going to have the -20. 93. Okay. So that hits. And not only does it hit, does casualty reduction. So this gets flipped. It goes to half squad. It goes to a half squad and it's suppressed. Oops. Would have been spot fire anyways. So I'll put its suppression marker to on. Nice shooting. Nice shooting by that unit. Mark them with small arms fire spot. Mark my M113 with the SWAT fire. All right, so that's it for fire. Now we have the American movement phase. Lots going on here. I want this M150 is going to go onto this bridge. Then I'm going to move this unit. 1, 2, 3. Turn. 4, 5. Now the interesting part. I'll do the overrun at the end of this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Turn left. 4, 5. And these guys right here. All coming in. They're all going to be there. Coming into the town. So there's going to be 3 tanks coming into that town. All right. So this tow carrier is going to go forward 1. Oops. One, 2, 3, 4. Turn. 4. And how much is it per wheeled vehicle to enter an alley? Wood vehicle. Wheeled vehicle can alley cost 2, so it's going to enter that alley right there. Okay. And what about this ship, M113? It's going to go right there and park right outside the town. So the Americans are basically doing cleanup operations over there. Okay. I'm going to move the Russian Spigot team, and then I'm going to do my overrun. So, track vehicle, medium woods. So it's woods. So it's 3 for a track vehicle to enter that medium woods. And I don't think there's any more penalty to do the overrun. So it's in the woods now. I take all of its GP firepower. M60. Okay, so it's going to be a 7. And I guess I can add the 1 for the anti-aircraft. 8. So it's going to be 8. I'm going to pause for a second. So I did a brief review of the overrun rules, and the overrun rules state that you can't use anti-armor guns. So I'm going to use this 7 in that square. Now that square means it has a coaxial machine gun, which is actually what I'm going to be using for the text. So that's going to be a 7. And the defense, you're going to have a unit in full cover in medium terrain. So it's going to be a 7 to 6, I believe. I'll go to the Soviet leg card and just double check that. Okay, Soviet leg, medium cover 6, full cover +2. So it'll be a 7 to 8 attack. And I'll take a look and double check to make sure there's no die roll modifiers for that. Okay. Let's go right here. Let's see if there's any special modifiers. Shooter suppress, no. Smoke, barrage, thermal, overwatch, blah, transport, overrun, pinning fire, or ICM. So it's overrun. So it'll be a 7 offensive firepower, 7 offensive factors, 8 defensive factors, plus 20 for the pin. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. It's going to be a 7, 8, but there's a plus 20 to the die roll. So going down, 7, 8, 7. So it'll be a 58, 89. 58, 89. I'll add 20 to the die roll. 32 plus 20 is 52. So the unit is not going to be affected, basically. But if a unit gets overrun, it automatically resets the suppression. So it's fully suppressed. Roll for that. So suppression on. Keep that marker out there. Okay, now I want to pause for a second and I want to see what happened. Okay, so since the overrunning vehicle did not eliminate the unit was overrunning, it's placed back into the hex that it came from, and I'm going to put it, and it gets spot fire because it was overrunning. So that's it for the American movement phase. Now the Soviet movement phase. So this spigot unit's going to go up here. It's going to come into the woods and join the fun. And this BTR-70, first the BTR-70 has to check for bog. Okay, it does not bog. It's going to get one hex turn. And it's going to go on the same hex with its section, spigot section. Okay. And that is it for this turn. And we'll be going on to turn 14 next. When we come back. We're on, this was 13. Now we're going to go on to 14. All right, so we have to check for suppression removal. So this unit right here. So first of all, the suppression on automatically becomes a suppression off. Other suppressions, you have to check to see if they're eliminated. So I want to see if this suppression right here is eliminated. So I have to look at the suppression removal. Suppression recovery. So you have to look at the unit grade modifier and season they need 1 through 60. And to the dice roll, was that unit under fire? No. Did it do defensive fire? No. Did it have any command other than an NC? No. It had an NC. So 60 or less. So it is fully recovered from suppression. Okay. Now over here on the right, this unit right here gets its suppression turned over to off. This unit right here, the American unit, as off. We have to roll to see if the suppression gets removed. Command other than no command. Yes. So it's going to be 60 with plus 20 to the die roll. Under fire. Yes. So it's going to need a 60, but there's a plus 30 to the die roll. And that suppression remains on. Now full cover. So they're going to remain in full cover. This unit is going to remain in full, is going to go to full cover. Yeah. Let me click, home, rotate clockwise, rotate counterclockwise, rotate counterclockwise. There you go. Any other infantry units? How about over here in the village? Okay, so everybody. Okay, so pretty much everybody who I want under full cover is under full cover at the moment. And that will be it. Oh, the smoke right here gets reduced. And that is it. All right. Thank you very much. Everybody, I will see you for turn 14. Bye-bye.